So, about a month ago, I took a look at one of the more obscure Nintendo titles with Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. You know, the one that uses bongos for controllers. And while that game may have been a bizarre concept on paper, it actually functioned extremely well on a gameplay and graphical level. But obviously, judging by the title of this video, I'm not going to be talking about that game anymore. I'm going to be talking about the sequel to the highly acclaimed Donkey Kong Country with Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Kong Quest. Released just a year after the original, this title managed to sell over 4 million copies on the Super NES alone, and not only has received very high praise at the time, but has even managed to be re-released on the Game Boy Advance and recently on the Wii's Virtual Console. But even despite the sales, critical reception, and the fact that many people consider this to be greater than the original, not to mention the amount of people who consider it to be the best DK game of all time, is it any good? Well, judging by everything I've just said, that's a pretty safe bet, but let's take a more detailed look and swing on to the second adventure into Donkey Kong Country. This game begins on the pirate ship that was anchored off the coast of DK Isle in the first title. Diddy and his girlfriend Dixie discover that despite DK's attempt to destroy King K. Rool, he managed to get himself captured by the nefarious Captain K. Rool and is being held hostage on the Kremling's home island. Wasting no time, Diddy and Dixie set off to free their leader. Their travels will take them through a mostly demolished pirate ship, porcupine-infested swamps, treacherous volcanoes, hornets' nests, and even haunted mansions. So, do our heroes have what it takes to brave all of these obstacles, fight multiple bosses, and avoid certain death every step of the way? Well, probably not, but I guess that's what continues are for. Like the first game, this title is an action platformer. You know, the type of game where you go to the right and avoid death. But also like the first game, there is much more to it than just jumping and traversing. Aside from obviously fighting your way through various enemies, you can collect bananas to gain extra lives, spell out the letter Kong to also gain an extra life, but then there's the hidden Kong and Kremling tokens. Hidden throughout the stages are various minigames, varying from destroying all of your foes within the time limit, to finding a token hidden in various chests. Completing these minigames will give you a Kong token. Kong tokens can be used with your allies to purchase special favors. Okay, that came out wrong. What I meant by that is, you can see your friend Funky Kong to travel to other areas that were already completed, Wrinkly Kong who can allow you to save your process, Swanky Kong who runs a quiz show which can give you an extra life, and of course, everyone's favorite cranky and spiteful primate, Cranky Kong, who will give you hints on how to progress through levels or find secrets. The Kremling tokens can be used to pay the toll from this defected croc named Clubba. If you have enough tokens, he will transport you to the special Hidden World, which must be completed to achieve the game's full ending. Along with just hopping around, finding hidden rooms and coins, and of course killing enemies, you will also occasionally run into friendly creatures to help you in your quests, ranging from a snake to help you hop up on masts on a ship, to a swordfish to help you gracefully swim through hazardous swamps, or even a friendly spider that can build webs on which for you to jump. There are overall 40 stages in this game, and this game time could take you somewhere between a couple of hours, or possibly well over 10. Why the diversity? Well, let's get to the reviewing, shall we? Talking from a gameplay perspective, this is an extremely strong aspect. Controlling both Dixie and Diddy is as smooth as Land O'Lakes, and the design of these levels allows for many opportunities to use them in conjunction with one another. For instance, you can have one Kong stand on the other's back to launch them to high areas, and Dixie has the ability to use her ponytails as a helicopter. Both of these aspects combined or separately can get you to a secret area or even give you a shortcut through the level. But as for the difficulty, well, this game is pretty tough. Now, I don't mean tough in the respect of unfairly hard by any means, but there are many points in which you must take your time and choose your jumps very carefully to avoid dying. And even worse, other instances in which you are timed to make your jumps, forcing you to think very quickly. Add this to the fact that this game changes up and creates new gameplay elements along the way, you may be in for some dangerous surprises. However, this really isn't a problem. In fact, I'd say that this works in the game's favor. While the game can be very challenging at times, it is never unfair in its design, and I felt this to be more rewarding once I beat a level. As for the graphics in this game, these also looked great for the time. As many of you probably know, the first Donkey Kong Country utilized pre-rendered graphics in its stages, making for some impressive visuals, and this game is no different. The enemies, main characters, stages, water, and even backgrounds all look fantastic and really immerse you into the experience. But one of my favorite aspects of this game is the soundtrack. Much like the first title, and many other games developed by Rare, the tracks are masterfully composed and all do a great job in building the atmosphere regardless of the stage you are playing. So in conclusion, what do I think of this second venture into the world of Donkey Kong? Well, I personally wouldn't say that it's better than the original, but that by no means says it isn't impressive. If you like Donkey Kong games, or are just a fan of platformers in general, I can absolutely recommend checking out this title. Pretty soon, you'll be going bananas all over again, and in the end, I see nothing wrong with that. So until next time, this is E-Dog, savior of DK, and still, King of the Jungle. See you next time.